Shigatsu no Uso is definitely one of those hidden gems for me of 2014. It's perhaps the only music-themed anime that's gotten me engrossed with its characters and the struggle of each musician we see. The fusion of the story and the music blends together so great, using the music as a backdrop of how the characters' emotions are juxtaposing the piece they are playing, like our main characters struggle to overcome hearing the sound of the piano. At the time I am recording this, I've seen about 12 or 13 episodes, therefore I imagine the anime will probably focus a little more on the main girl, Kaori, as we know very little of her character despite the hints of something crucial that she has yet to reveal. As an overall, if you're looking for a refreshing music anime to turn the tides from what you usually watch, try out Shigatsu no Uso. Kiseiju overwhelmed me at the start with the first 6 episodes. Unfortunately, what followed afterwards isn't really coming off as strong for me as the start did. With Shinichi's personality and ideology being slowly engulfed by the parasite, the story for me feels that it's slowly becoming more predictable for me. Despite that being my only issue thus far, having only watched 12 episodes, the anime has hooked me with the struggle of loss for humanity, quite like Tokyo Ghoul. Except I felt Kiseiju executed this in a more interesting way through using parasites that don't harness any emotion when devouring a human. The action is short and sweet and doesn't drag, however I'm still waiting for that one intense battle where we see Shinichi in an intense match against someone who is on par with him. As for right now, this show is a highly recommended watch from me. Fate Stay Night is one of those few anime that always lives up to the hype. Despite how skeptical I was since I watched the adaptation for Unlimited Blade Works the film, I was overwhelmed with Fate Stay Night's interpretation of it this time round, as the anime is explaining a lot more about Emi as a character and Arch's resemblance between the both of them, as I felt a bit lost with what the film tried to communicate given how rushed the story was. The 2006 version was mediocre at best, which is worth watching if you want to see an alternative telling of Fate Stay Night, because there are things that are quite different to what you currently are seeing with the 2014 series of Fate Stay. If you haven't seen any of the Fate series, check out Fate Zero, the Call, which in my opinion is still better than Fate Stay Night. Although at the time I'm recording this, Fate Stay Night has still yet to finish later this year. No Game No Life was a fantastic 12-episode anime that had a concept that was surprisingly never touched on before from what I know of, so feel free to prove me otherwise in the comments. The palette for the animation was intriguing, as Madhouse made No Game No Life distinctive with its aesthetics, making this fantasy world all the more unique, with its exterior making it all the more tangible. Story is one of those setups where it's about outsmarting your opponents, which is shown through the games wagered between each race within this alternative world that Ten brought our main duo into. I'm aware there are people arguing that No Game No Life is a fantastic ecchi anime, and honestly, I completely disagree. The ecchi genre itself is a subgenre in this case and takes a backseat to the game adventure fantasy genre in No Game No Life's case. Believe me people, the ecchi for me was pretty light for it to be considered an ecchi, but I'm not here to argue that, despite how I spent the last few seconds debating that. My only problem with the anime was that awful cut right bang at the end, leaving a bitter taste and zero hope for a sequel. It's almost as if the show went over the agreed duration by a mere few minutes, which is a terrible way to convince your audience the faith your company has and how little you possibly care for the anime. All in all, if you like lollies, thought-provoking and strategic games, then No Game No Life won't disappoint you in any way whatsoever. Ping Pong, an anime that looks like it was tripping on acid. The anime uses the sport to develop its characters, therefore allowing you, the audience, to experience progression through the story's characters. What I especially love about Ping Pong is how the ideology of success is seen through the different viewpoints from different types of players. Whether you're a hard-working player, or someone that just likes to have fun, or if you're just simply plain stupidly talented. Then comes the matches, which are wonderfully constructed, as the matches sometimes tend to visually go abstract to the point where you can't make sense of what is occurring. But all in all, if you're looking for an anime that is little thought-provoking and competitiveness, then Ping Pong should do the job fantastically. The nature of GEKKAN shoujo NOZAKI-KUN is definitely unique and very similar in that sense to daily lives of high school boys. The anime revolves over a very tall teenage shoujo mangaka, NOZAKI-KUN, who is assisted by the small kawaii maiden in love, Sakura, whose confession to NOZAKI-KUN translated over to being friendzoned for all eternity. community. Despite that, the story for once doesn't dawdle around this and fixate on solving the problems endlessly. What made this anime unique are the interactions and jokes between the characters' interactions, which is what this show as a whole gets by on. At first, I thought maybe this show will turn out to be a one-trick pony with its comedy, as practically most, if not all rom-coms for me, turn out to be more romantic than funny. However, GEKKAN Shoujo NOZAKI-KUN takes the opposite approach and effortlessly tries to make you laugh at the situation despite how small it may be. Definitely watch this anime if you're looking for a show that'll pick you up and put a smile on your face. GEKKAN Shoujo NOZAKI-KUN is the best choice for that. I cannot get enough of that opening. Shingeki no BAHAMUT really nailed that dark fantasy adventure story for me. This was particularly unique as it was an original anime that didn't fall off from the shonen tree for once. Therefore, the disappointment for this short anime was very minimal and unlikely to occur without falling into any cliches. The story revolves around this revival of the Bahamut that the gods, demons, and humans work together to seal into 2 keys. Flash forward to the present setting at a time of peace. We then follow Favaro, a bounty hunter, and Amira, a beautiful woman that drags Favaro into a journey towards Helheim in pursuit of uniting with her mother. Along the way, we get some pretty great battles with a mix of fantasy and bare-bone fighting, which is where Kaiser, another bounty hunter who jumps into this quest whilst initially pursuing Favaro for vengeance. All in all, the show managed to keep me invested very much throughout the whole entirety without lacking any pacing given the nature of its show. I was especially pleased with the ending on how things turned out, which was quite realistic in the sense of how it concluded, therefore wrapping things up and keeping the anime short and sweet without relying on a plausible sequel, which a lot of new anime should really follow. Mushishi is one of those series that just give you that sigh of relief when the mention of Mushishi comes from the mouth. The story is a wonderful recollection of supernatural stories that these Mushi stir up through the journey of a Mushishi, Ginko. The story follows Ginko, a Mushi master that researches these Mushi that manifests and cause these abnormalities like shape-shifting into people, plants, and diseases. The story themselves are the epitome of episodic and doesn't deter away from that whatsoever, despite how bittersweet some of the stories are. The continuity within the episode itself creates this illusion that you're not watching an episode because of how engrossing the story is and taking you into the world of Mushishi so gracefully you can't even believe you saw just the one episode. Mushishi is definitely a great example of one of those anime that could possibly pull off being an ongoing series whilst maintaining the consistency of its narrative. Barakamon is one of those anime that I felt was overlooked as soon as people set their eyes on the poster. Despite Barakamon's niche appeal with no sexualized kawaii underage girls, neither fantasy nor any exhilarating high-paced gory battles. So what does the Barakamon experience offer? The story itself revolves around a choreographer in his early 20s who has become known for punching an old faggot that critiqued his style of choreography. Fortunately, instead of getting put into prison for assault or sued, Seishu is rewarded for his actions and sent to the Goto Islands, a place where technology is less than secondary to everything, therefore allowing our main guy Handa to focus at peace and hone his skills as a calligrapher. Also, we thought till we saw this tomboy Naru jump in and then unravel and open up Handa's character to see things that are differently from what he couldn't at Tokyo. The anime thrives on its comedy slice of life nature and most of all its characters that run the whole show, with Handa on the side retaliating with anger or just being plain gobsmacked. Unfortunately, the show doesn't conclude as the plot is something that one can't really depict the ending for, to be honest. The anime will give you laughs and thoughtful moments, making this anime a wonderful watch. Enjoyed my selection? If not, feel free to disagree and debate this below in the comments, and please throw in a like and share me your top anime of last year. And please explain why for each of your choices, and if you have done already, fill me in on what to check out this winter anime season. Don't forget to check out my 2013 tops and maybe some of my other 2014 tops if you hadn't subscribed around then. Bid you all a farewell, and the archive will follow through next week as scheduled. Take care.